Welcome to Profit and Wealth, where we uncover the psychology of money, power, and the hidden dynamics of success and failure. A respected Wall Street veteran, sharply dressed, calm under pressure, the kind of man who can make or break fortunes with a single phone call. He's not just another trader, he's the former chairman of NASDAQ, a figure admired by billionaires, charities, and even regulators. But behind the curtain, there are no trades, no secret algorithm, no genius strategy, only a sophisticated illusion, one that would go down as the largest Ponzi scheme in modern financial history. This is the story of Bernie Madoff, a man who built an empire on trust, reputation, and deception, and how it all came crashing down. More importantly, it's about why so many people believed in him and what this story teaches us about money, psychology, and ourselves. The story. Bernard Lawrence Madoff was born in New York City in 1938. By 1960, at just 22, he founded Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities LLC with a few $1,000s saved from lifeguarding. Over the years, he transformed that small startup into a respected firm, part brokerage, part investment advisory, and eventually a market-making powerhouse. He built connections with elite investors, banks, and institutions. He even became chairman of NASDAQ, one of the most prestigious roles in finance. To the outside world, Bernie Madoff was the definition of success: sophisticated, connected, and trustworthy. But somewhere along the way, the line between legitimate business and deception blurred. The investment advisory side of his firm stopped being real. Instead of actually investing clients' money, Madoff began using funds from new investors to pay returns to earlier ones. Greater than "I'm running a massive Ponzi scheme." The next day, the FBI arrested him. By March 2009, he pled guilty to 11 federal felonies. The losses? Over $50 to $65 billion. The largest financial fraud in modern history. The damage went far beyond money. Families lost life savings. Charities were wiped out. Reputations were shattered. Regulators faced outrage for missing red flags that, in hindsight, seemed obvious. But how did one man deceive the entire financial world for so long? The sales psychology behind the scheme. To understand Madoff's success, we need to understand the art of persuasion he mastered. Because what he sold wasn't an investment, it was trust. 1. Credibility through reputation. Madoff didn't need flashy marketing. His status was his marketing. He was a market maker, a pioneer in electronic trading, a former NASDAQ chairman. Investors assumed if Bernie is involved, it must be legitimate. It's one of the oldest psychological levers in finance. Authority bias. People trust those who seem credible and established. 2. Consistency in an uncertain world. While the rest of Wall Street swung wildly between gains and losses, Madoff's clients saw smooth, predictable growth, month after month. That consistency became addictive. Investors craved safety more than high returns. They didn't question how he did it because they didn't want to know. 3. Exclusivity and social proof. Not just anyone could invest with Madoff. You had to be invited. This made his fund feel like an elite private club. Wealthy investors bragged about being part of it, which only made others want in even more. When high-profile names and foundations were involved, smaller investors assumed, if they trust him, I can too. That's social proof at work. The human desire to follow the crowd, especially when the crowd looks successful. Finance lessons from the Madoff saga. Beyond the drama, Madoff's story holds powerful financial lessons that every investor, big or small, should understand. Lesson 1. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. In real investing, risk and reward are inseparable. Steady, high returns with zero volatility are impossible. If someone promises it, especially when markets are chaotic, that's your first red flag. Lesson 2. Transparency over trust. Never invest in something you don't understand. If the strategy is vague, the trades are secret, or the records can't be verified by an independent source, walk away. Madoff's clients got beautiful account statements that were entirely fabricated. Lesson 3. Liquidity and redemption matter. Healthy investment structures allow you to withdraw funds without chaos. A scheme that depends on constant new money is a ticking time bomb. When everyone wanted their money back in 2008, Madoff's empire imploded overnight. Lesson 4. Reputation isn't a safety net. Madoff weaponized his reputation. Regulators, journalists, and even professional investors looked the other way because of who he was. But reputation doesn't equal legitimacy. Always do your own due diligence, no matter how famous or trustworthy the person appears. Lesson 5. Understand incentives. Ask yourself, how does this person make money? In Madoff's case, there were no performance fees from real profits, just a recycling of deposits. Real investments create value. Ponzi schemes only reshuffle it. Lesson 6. Never outsource all responsibility. Even the SEC missed years of red flags. That means you can't depend solely on regulators or institutions to protect you. Financial literacy is your best defense. The more you understand, the harder it is for anyone to manipulate you. The takeaway. The story of Bernie Madoff isn't just a financial scandal. It's a mirror reflecting how easily trust, greed, and fear can cloud judgment. He didn't just steal money, he hacked human psychology. He built his empire on credibility, exclusivity, and the human desire for certainty in an uncertain world. His system was doomed from the start because when new money stopped flowing, everything collapsed. The red flags were always there. Unrealistic returns, vague explanations, heavy reliance on reputation, lack of transparency. But people ignored them, not because they were foolish, but because they were human. So what should we learn? Be skeptical of perfection. Ask uncomfortable questions. Demand proof. If you can't explain how an investment works in plain language, it's not for you. And most importantly, never let the fear of missing out or the comfort of following the crowd silence your intuition, your wealth, your decisions, your responsibility. The next time someone offers you steady profits, no matter the market, pause and ask, where is the real value being created? What happens if new investors stop coming? Can I verify the results independently? If the answers aren't clear, walk away. Because in the end, real wealth isn't built on trust alone. It's built on knowledge, integrity, and awareness. Thank you for watching. If you found value in this deep dive into the Bernie Madoff saga, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned to Profit and Wealth, where we turn stories of deception into lessons of financial wisdom.